Okay, good morning children. You are back again, class 7 maths. Today is 18th. We are going to do plant tissues. I'll be uploading the notes for animal cell and plant cell, the remaining part of the notes in WhatsApp. You go through that, copy it, study it, because if there's a unit test, that will be the syllabus. Okay, so plant tissues, page number 3, Ratna Sagar. This is the book that we are using. Okay, so again, out here also, they have talked about the cell. It says it's the structural and functional unit of life in all living beings. That's true. What do I mean? What do they mean by structural and functional? Structure, the way something looks, the structure of an organism, okay, whether with plant and animal, it's decided by the cells. And functional, how it functions, how it works, how it goes about its daily business, that is also decided by the cells. So cells are very important. It is the basic unit of all living things, right? So cells together, there are groups of, even in one organism, there are different types of cells. Like take us humans for example. We have eyes, we have mouth, tongue, we have liver, we have kidneys, we have skin, we have muscles. There are different types of tissues, cells in your body. So group of cells that perform a specific function, like the cells of the eyes, they will only be concentrating on vision. The cells of your kidneys will be concentrating on filtration, removing of waste. Cells of your stomach will be involved in digestion, all those things. Okay, cells of your muscles will be involved in strengthening the body, putting the body mass, making the body upright, structure, so many things. Okay, so group of cells that perform a specific function are called tissues. Okay, so this chapter is about plant tissues. The types of plant tissues are meristematic tissues and permanent tissues, right? So first we'll go into meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are tissues that are found in actively growing regions of the plant, because a plant needs to grow. And see, if you have noticed that a tree never stops growing in height or in thickness also. It keeps going up or side also. Let it grow for many years, it keeps becoming bigger and bigger, right? So meristematic tissues are found in areas where there is active cell division or active growth taking place. So where do we think an active growth takes place in a plant? At the shoot tips and the root tips, right? So these are the areas where active growth is taking place, right? So it says out here, this tissue is found in all growing parts of a plant where growth in length and thickness of a plant occurs. For example, the root and shoot tips contain meristematic tissues. The main function of meristematic tissue is to produce new cells at the root and shoot tips to build up the plant body in length and thickness. Characteristic of meristematic tissues, the cells are small in size, true. Cell wall is thin, yeah, because it has to grow actively. So the cell wall is thick, then it will, and cell wall is composed of dead material, cellulose, okay, so that might inhibit the growth. It is thin, nuclei are prominent, nucleus is very much prominent, and vacuoles are mostly absent in meristematic tissues. The cells actively divide to form new cells, that's true. Cell division. Types of meristematic tissues, depending on the location in the plant body, meristematic tissues are of two types: apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue. Apical meristematic tissues are found in the tips. Apical comes from the word apex, it forms in the tips. So if you look at it, the root tips and the shoot tips. Okay, so these are found in those areas where active growth and active cell division is taking place. Lateral meristematic tissues helps in the girth, the diameter of a plant. So usually the tree gains thickness because of meristematic tissues present on the lateral sides of the root and the stem. This tissue is called the lateral meristematic tissue, or commonly known as cambium. Cambium is just below the bark of a plant, okay, under the bark, right? It is responsible for the increase in the thickness of the roots and stem. Okay, now we come to permanent tissues. The new cells formed by the division of the meristematic tissues elongate and on maturity gets differentiated to perform specific function. Okay, so tips, they are growing, then they move inwards, right? Then they mature, they elongate, then they have specific function, each and every cell or group of cells, tissues. These cells do not divide further and hence are called permanent tissue. The very word permanent means they cannot divide further, they cannot grow further basically. Such a tissue comprises cells in which growth has either stopped completely or for the time being. Okay, So permanent tissues can be classified into two main types. Simple permanent tissue, what do? They provide support and protection to the plant. And complex permanent tissue, which conducts nutrients and water, so most probably that is the xylem and the phloem, the vascular bundle. Okay. So simple permanent tissue is composed of cells that are structurally and functionally similar. They look the same, the work that they do is also same. This tissue provides support and protection to plants and is further classified into two types: protective tissue, supporting tissue. Okay. The protective tissue consists of epidermis. Epidermis means the outermost, like the skin is an epidermis, so the outermost part of a plant, the most probably the bark area, that forms the outer covering of the plant and protects it from external influence. Okay. Bark is also basically composed of dead cells that has been deposited by the plant. That's why it's non-living, it's dead, and it provides support, it provides, it protects the tree also. Okay. So the outer walls of the epidermis are usually thick and covered with cutin. The cutin reduces loss of water. Cork is also protective tissue located at the periphery of the roots and stem. Periphery means towards the end. It is made up of thick wall cells that are already dead. Okay. Now, in leaves, the epidermis has special cells called guard cells that control the opening and closing of stomata. In big trees, the outer covering of the tree trunk is multilayer and is called periderm. Okay. Now, supporting tissues. This tissue comprises the bulk of the plant body and provides support to it. It is of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Okay. Now, what is parenchyma? The cells of the parenchyma tissues are thin-walled, living, and have intercellular spaces. Okay. So, if you go to page number 5, you can see diagram 1.2a. Okay. They may be oval, they may be spherical, they may be cylindrical in shapes, different shapes. Parenchyma is present in almost all parts of the plant. For example, it is found in the roots, stems, leaves, and parenchyma cells with chloroplast found in the leaves helps in photosynthesis, because chlorophyll is what is contained in chloroplast, the green pigment that helps in photosynthesis. They are called chlorenchyma. Understood? So if it contains chlorophyll, it's called chlorenchyma. Parenchyma tissues store food. Now collenchyma, parenchyma, the spelling is P-A-R-E-N. Okay. Collenchyma, the cells of collenchyma tissues are either circular, oval, or polygonal. Polygonal means like 5-sided or 6-sided, like that. Okay. Many-sided basically. Okay. In shape, they are living cells found below the epidermis, right below the skin, the bark area, in the young stems and petiole of leaves. Petiole is the, if we have stem and the leaf, this is the petiole part. Okay, petiole of the leaves. These cells have thicker primary cell walls than parenchyma cells. They are thickened at the corners due to the presence of cellulose and pectin, dead materials. Intercellular spaces are generally absent. This tissue provides structural support to growing stems and leaves. Then we come to sclerenchyma. Cells of sclerenchyma tissues are long with tapering ends. So they are very long tapering ends, means it's pointed. Okay, like tapering ends, pointed, right? Okay. And have a cell wall which is thickened all around due to the presence of the complex substance called lignin. Lignin makes sure the cell wall is thick. These cells are generally dead and do not contain any protoplasm. So these are not living cells anymore. This type of tissues is found in the stems and veins of the leaves. Why in the veins of the leaves? Because veins is the basic, like these are the veins of the leaves, like this part, you know. So why? Because they have to give the structure to the leaf. Okay, and the leaf also has to stand there. So the veins provide the structure. The rest is the lamina, which contains the stomata, stomatal opening, chlorophyll, all these things, where the food manufacturing process takes place. Okay. This tissue provides mechanical strength to the stem. The sclerenchyma consists of two types of cells: sclerenchyma fibers and sclerids. Okay. The fibers of jute, cotton, hemp, and husk of coconut are made up of sclerenchyma tissue. So you can understand jute, from which we make sacks and all. Cotton, which we make cloth. Hemp is again another type of plant from which we take out fibers to make sacks and even clothes. Okay, husk of coconut, yeah, you have all seen coconut, the husk, the rough part, which you can make it into ropes, or they make it into scrubber for washing utensils also. So they are made up of sclerenchyma tissues. So we'll do till there, children. The next topic we'll be covering, next video class, is complex permanent tissue, which consists of xylem and phloem. Okay, so till then, see you. Bye bye.